I don't care what you say, little girl. You stole that card and I'm calling the police. Scarlett Ashford, the white store manager, screamed down at the terrified child. Her voice echoed through the electronics store like a weapon. The little girl, Zara Nightingale, could barely breathe between sobs. Please don't hurt me. I didn't steal the card, she cried, her voice cracking. Customers froze. Some filmed. Others shouted in disbelief. This is insane, someone said near the gaming section. But what no one knew, including Scarlett herself, was that in exactly 23 minutes, this store manager's world was about to collapse. Because the child she just accused of theft had a mother who could end her entire career with a single call. Let's go back 45 minutes earlier. When an innocent 8-year-old girl walked into that store, excited for her birthday and proud of the trust her mother had placed in her, Zara Nightingale, wearing a pink dress and sneakers that lit up when she walked, wasn't just another kid. She was bright, curious, and thoughtful, always asking how things worked because she wanted to be like her mom someday. That day, her mother had handed her a black American Express card and told her she could pick out her very own birthday tablet. Zara felt so grown up, so trusted, but she had no idea the day would end in tears and chaos. The woman about to destroy her joy was Scarlett Ashford, 45 years old, bitter from a divorce, exhausted by life and angry at the world. 15 years in retail had hardened her. She resented families that looked happy, especially the black ones. And across town, Celeste Nightingale, Zara's mother, was in a boardroom. But Celeste wasn't any ordinary mom. She was the CEO of Nightingale Enterprises, a $2 billion tech empire she'd built from nothing. Elegant, brilliant, and private, Celeste had worked her way from poverty to power while protecting her daughter from the public eye. Back at Tech World Electronics, Scarlett's assistant manager Dante Morrow and cashier Aubrey Delqua were on shift. Dante was a yes-man who never challenged his boss. Aubrey, kind and soft-spoken, was terrified of losing her job, but hated seeing injustice. At 2:15 p.m., Zara walked through the glass doors, sneakers blinking, card in hand, a smile on her face. She was bubbling with excitement. But from the moment she entered, Scarlett's eyes locked on her, suspicion flaring instantly. Zara went straight to the tablet section. "Excuse me, miss," she said to Aubrey with polite confidence. "Can you help me find a tablet for learning and games?" Aubrey's heart melted. The girl was sweet, articulate, and curious. They talked through options, and Zara's eyes lit up when she saw a silver tablet with a purple case. "This one. Mommy said I can pick whichever I like best." But Scarlett had been watching, her face tightening with judgment. A black child, alone, talking about buying expensive electronics. In her mind, it was obvious. This kid didn't belong here. Scarlett marched over, heels clacking. "Where are your parents, little girl?" Zara looked up, nervous but polite. "My mommy's at work. She said I could come here for my birthday. She gave me her special card." Scarlett's lips curled. "Let me see that card." Zara handed it over carefully. Scarlett's eyes narrowed. A black Amex, premium, exclusive. "Where did you get this?" she demanded louder. "Mommy gave it to me," Zara said softly. "What's her name? Where does she work? You expect me to believe an 8-year-old has an American Express black card?" Zara's bottom lip trembled. "I didn't steal anything. Mommy always says I'm a good girl." A crowd began to gather. Aubrey stepped forward. "Maybe we should just verify the card number." "I'll handle this," Scarlett snapped. Zara fumbled for her pink phone. "I can call my mommy." She dialed. Ring, ring, voicemail. Her mother's phone was on silent, deep in a billion-dollar meeting. Scarlett smirked. "See? No answer. Because you don't have permission, do you?" "I'm not lying," Zara said through tears. "Mommy gave it to me." "I promise." Scarlett raised her voice so everyone could hear. "I think you took this card without permission, and that makes you a thief. I'm calling the police." The word police hit Zara like a blow. Tears poured down her face. "I'm not a thief. Mommy said I could." "Please!" Phones came out. People started filming. Some looked horrified. Others whispered judgments. "She's just a kid," one woman muttered. "She probably stole it," another replied coldly. Scarlett's face twisted. "Stop crying right now!" she screamed, towering over the sobbing child. Zara reached out, small hand trembling, just wanting comfort, and Scarlett slapped her. The sound echoed through the store. A bright red handprint appeared on Zara's cheek. Silence. Then chaos. "Oh my God!" someone screamed. "She just hit a child. Call the police!" Aubrey dropped everything and ran to Zara, wrapping her arms around the sobbing girl. "You're safe now, sweetie. I've got you." Zara clung to her, shaking. "Why did she hit me?" "I didn't do anything bad." "I want my mommy!" Scarlett, still fuming, shouted. "She was being disruptive! Probably stealing. I had every right to discipline her." Gasps. Even some of the bystanders who'd supported her backed away. Security guard Phoenix Sterling hurried over, unsure what to do. Scarlett barked, "Get her out of my store!" Phoenix hesitated. "Ma'am." "She's a child." But Scarlett was already on the phone, dialing 911. "Yes, police?" "I have a child here stealing and causing a scene. I need her removed immediately." The audacity was stunning. She had just assaulted a child and was calling the police on the victim. Meanwhile, Aubrey was helping Zara call her mom again, this time dialing her mother's office line. Nightingale Enterprises. "This is Margaret," answered a calm voice. "Miss Margaret, it's Zara," the girl sobbed. "A lady hit me. I'm scared. I want mommy." Margaret Chen froze. She knew who Zara was. She burst into the boardroom without knocking. "Celeste, you need to come now. Zara's been hurt." Celeste's calm, commanding demeanor vanished. "Where?" "Tech World Electronics, 5th Street. Celeste grabbed her keys. "Cancel everything. Call my security team. Someone just made the biggest mistake of their life." Back at the store, sirens wailed in the distance. Scarlett smirked, thinking she'd soon be vindicated. She had no idea she'd just summoned the police to arrest her. Minutes later, a black luxury SUV screeched into the parking lot. Out stepped Celeste Nightingale, tailored navy suit, fury in her eyes. She stormed inside like a hurricane, and there she saw it, her little girl in a stranger's arms, tears streaking her face, a red mark burning on her cheek. "Zara!" Celeste cried. "Mommy!" Zara ran to her, collapsing into her arms. Celeste knelt, holding her tight. "I'm here, baby." "Who did this?" Scarlett marched over. "Finally! Your daughter was disruptive, tried to steal, and when I disciplined her..." Celeste stood slowly, one arm around Zara. Her voice turned ice cold. "You undisciplined my daughter?" She had a credit card that obviously wasn't hers. "I had every right to maintain order," Scarlett snapped. At that moment, 2 police officers entered, expecting a shoplifting case. But when Officer Rodriguez saw Zara's red cheek, his expression hardened. "Ma'am, I'll need to see ID," he said to Celeste. Celeste handed over her driver's license and business card. "Celeste Nightingale, CEO of Nightingale Enterprises. My 8-year-old daughter was assaulted in your store." Rodriguez's eyes widened. He knew the name. Dante, the assistant manager, went pale. He whispered to Scarlett, "You have no idea who you just hit." Scarlett scoffed. "Another entitled parent." "That's Celeste Nightingale," Dante hissed. "Our landlord. She owns this entire complex." The color drained from Scarlett's face. "Ma'am," Officer Rodriguez said, turning to her, "did you strike this child?" "I disciplined her appropriately when she got out of control," Scarlett replied. "So you admit it," he said flatly. "You're under arrest for assault on a minor." Scarlett froze as the officer pulled out handcuffs. "You can't be serious. All this over one spoiled kid?" Celeste's eyes didn't blink. "That spoiled kid is my daughter. And you just made the biggest mistake of your life." Rodriguez read Scarlett her rights as the crowd watched, phones raised. "Ma'am, you're being arrested for assaulting a minor," but Celeste wasn't done. She turned to Dante, who was pale and trembling. "Where's the security footage?" "Yes, ma'am. Right this way," he stammered. In the office, Celeste watched the footage without a word. Zara entering with a smile, Scarlett's suspicion growing, the confrontation, the slap. The moment replayed on screen, the soundless image of her little girl being struck. "Play it again," Celeste said quietly. Dante obeyed. The slow-motion slap hit her like a storm inside. When the video ended, Celeste stood perfectly still. "Now call your regional manager," she said, voice calm but deadly. Dante hesitated. "Maybe we should—" "Now." Hands shaking, he dialed. "Sir, it's Dante from 5th Street. Celeste took the phone. "This is Celeste Nightingale, CEO of Nightingale Enterprises. One of your employees just assaulted my 8-year-old daughter in your store. It's on video. It's viral." There was silence on the other end. "Miss Nightingale, oh my God, we are so sorry." "I don't need apologies," Celeste interrupted. "I need action. Scarlett Ashford, terminated immediately." "Done," the voice replied instantly. "Your assistant manager, Dante Morrow, failed to intervene. Demote and transfer him to your lowest performing location." Dante's knees nearly buckled. "And one more thing," Celeste continued. "Every store operating on my property will now undergo anti-discrimination and sensitivity training. Anyone who mistreats a customer, especially a child, will be permanently banned from working in any of my locations. Understood?" "Yes, absolutely. We'll implement it right away." Back in the store, Officer Rodriguez led Scarlett past rows of watching customers. Her face twisted between shock and rage. "You people are insane." "I was doing my job!" Celeste stepped forward. "No, you were abusing a child. You can't do this," Scarlett yelled as cameras flashed. Celeste's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "You hit my daughter. You called her a thief. And you did it because of the color of her skin. You're not just losing your job. You're losing your reputation, your freedom, and your future." Scarlett tried to speak, but Celeste cut her off. "Every time someone searches your name, they'll see this moment. This is who you are." Applause rippled through the store as the police escorted Scarlett outside. Customers clapped, some crying, others recording the moment Justice walked out in handcuffs. Outside, news vans were already pulling in. The video Indigo Blackwell had recorded had exploded online. Justice for Zara was trending in every major city. Scarlett's perp walk was live-streamed across social media as she was placed in the back of a squad car. Inside, Celeste turned to the young cashier who had held her daughter through the chaos. "What's your name?" "Aubrey Delcroix, ma'am." Celeste smiled softly. "Aubrey, you showed kindness and courage when no one else did. I won't forget that." She pulled a business card from her bag. "You're now the acting store manager, effective immediately, with a $50,000 raise. Call my assistant tomorrow." Aubrey's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, ma'am, I just—" Couldn't let her cry alone. Celeste knelt beside Zara, who was sniffling quietly. "Let's go home, baby." But before leaving, Celeste looked around the store, at the customers who'd filmed, the employees who'd stayed silent, the spot where her daughter had been struck. You all saw what happens when hatred goes unchecked. Don't ever stay silent again. Hours later, the police report was filed. The video had surpassed 2 million views, and Scarlett Ashford's name was everywhere, from local news to national headlines. Store manager arrested for assaulting black child with credit card. But for Celeste, the only thing that mattered was the little girl sitting in the back seat beside her, clutching her teddy bear and asking the question no mother ever wants to hear. "Mommy, why did that lady hate me?" Celeste's throat tightened. "She didn't hate you, baby." She hated herself. And she took it out on someone innocent. "Did I do something bad?" Zara whispered. Celeste reached over, brushing a tear from her daughter's cheek. "You did everything right. You were brave. You told the truth. What she did says everything about her and nothing about you." Zara stared out the window as city lights passed by, trying to understand a world that suddenly seemed less kind. 2 hours later, they sat in Zara's favorite ice cream shop. Strawberry for Zara, coffee for Celeste. The mark on Zara's cheek was fading, but the questions were not. "Mommy," Zara said softly, "why did she think I stole something?" Celeste sighed. "Because some people have ugly ideas about who deserves nice things. They look at our skin and make judgments without knowing us. But that doesn't mean their lies become our truth." Zara blinked. "So she was mean because I'm black?" Celeste nodded slowly. "That's part of it, yes. But her cruelty says more about her heart than your worth. You are brilliant, kind, and beautiful. Never let anyone make you doubt that. Zara pushed her ice cream away. I was so scared. I called you, but you didn't answer. I know, baby. Celeste's voice cracked. And I'll carry that guilt forever. But you were so strong. You kept believing I'd come, and I did. For the first time that night, Zara smiled faintly. You came fast, Celeste laughed through her tears. Of course I did. I'll always come. By morning, the story had taken over every major outlet. Talk shows debated it. News anchors discussed racial bias in retail. And Celeste. She didn't just post a statement. She changed the system. Every store on Nightingale properties now had Zara protocols. No employee could question or detain a child without a parent present. No adult could touch a minor under any circumstance. Any report of discrimination triggered immediate suspension and investigation. Celeste also launched the Zara Nightingale Scholarship for Young Innovators, giving full college funding to kids who showed creativity and compassion. Within 5 years, it helped over 1,000 students. Indigo Blackwell, the woman who filmed everything, used her newfound platform to start Witness and Act, a nonprofit teaching people how to intervene safely when they see injustice. Silence is complicity, she said in her first viral interview. When adults hurt children, feeling bad isn't enough, you act. As for Scarlett Ashford, her downfall was swift. Felony assault on a minor, fired, shunned, her mugshot was everywhere. She couldn't get a job. Every background check led back to that video, but this story wasn't about Scarlett's ruin. It was about Zara's healing. Months passed. The nightmares faded. One evening, Zara came to her mother with an idea. Mommy, I want to make something. Like an app, Celeste smiled. Tell me about it. It's for kids, Zara said. If someone's being mean or unfair, they can press a button. It'll record everything and send it to their parents. Maybe even to good police officers, too. And it can show safe places kids can go. Celeste stared at her, amazed. That's brilliant. They spent months building it together, a tool for protection inspired by pain. Zara named it Kindness. It had a big orange button that recorded audio and video, an emergency message feature that alerted parents, and a courage section where kids could hear encouragement from others who'd faced bullying or discrimination. When it launched on Zara's 9th birthday, the response was overwhelming. Thousands of downloads in the first week. Families across the world used it to help kids report bullying, mistreatment, and racism. Celeste told reporters, "My daughter turned her trauma into something powerful." That's the real story here. Zara just smiled shyly at the cameras. I just don't want any kid to be scared like I was. The Kindness app spread faster than anyone expected. Schools began recommending it, parents shared it in group chats, and news anchors called it the app born from courage. Within months, Zara's idea had gone global. Kids used it to document bullying at school, record unfair treatment in stores, and alert their parents instantly when something felt wrong. One reporter asked her during an interview, "Zara, why did you make it?" Zara smiled shyly. "Because when that lady was mean to me, I didn't have anyone to help me right away. I want other kids to have help fast." The audience in the studio erupted in applause. Celeste watched from the side of the stage, tears glistening in her eyes. Her daughter, the little girl who once trembled in fear on a store floor, was now standing tall, teaching the world about strength and kindness. But Celeste wasn't done using her influence. She turned her pain into policy. Her company donated millions to programs promoting diversity in hiring, child safety education, and tech inclusion for underrepresented communities. Every Nightingale Enterprises employee, from engineers to janitors, was now trained in cultural sensitivity and ethical conduct. "Business isn't just about profits," Celeste said at a press conference. "It's about the kind of world we build for our children." Zara's story became a case study in business schools, not for the scandal, but for how Celeste handled it. Precise, powerful, and purposeful. She didn't just destroy her daughter's attacker. She built something better from the ashes. Meanwhile, Indigo Blackwell's Witness and Act organization kept growing. She toured schools, teaching both kids and adults that doing nothing is never an option. That day in the electronics store, I realized silence hurts as much as cruelty, she told one audience. If I hadn't filmed it, Scarlett would still be managing that store, and Zara would have been labeled a thief instead of a hero. Even years later, people still watched the viral video, not for outrage anymore, but as a reminder of how fast the truth spreads when someone stands up for what's right. Scarlett Ashford, on the other hand, became a cautionary tale. Her mugshot appeared in documentaries about racism and accountability. Every job interview ended the same way: "We'll call you." But no one ever did. The internet never forgets. One evening, 2 years after the incident, Celeste found Zara at her desk coding. The glow from her laptop lit her face. "What are you working on now?" Celeste asked, smiling. Zara grinned. "An update for kindness. This version will help kids talk to each other if they're feeling lonely or scared. Like a friendship button." Celeste sat beside her, watching her daughter type confidently, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "You know," she said softly, "most adults spend their whole lives trying to make the world better. You've already started." Zara looked up, thoughtful. "Do you think that lady ever learned her lesson?" Celeste sighed. "I don't know, baby. But what matters is that you did something good with something bad. That's what real strength is." Zara smiled and kept typing. "Then maybe someday she'll download the app, too." Celeste laughed gently. Maybe she will. Months later, the Nightingale Foundation hosted an event celebrating the first anniversary of the Zara protocols. Business leaders, educators, and activists gathered under shimmering lights as Celeste took the stage. Zara stood beside her, holding her hand. Celeste began. "A year ago, my daughter was hurt because someone saw her skin before her soul. That pain could have broken us. Instead, it built something stronger, a promise that no child will ever be treated that way again without the world seeing it, stopping it, and changing it." She turned to Zara. "And this promise started because an 8-year-old girl refused to believe the world couldn't be kind." The crowd rose in a standing ovation. Cameras flashed. Zara beamed, her light-up sneakers sparkling under the stage lights, just like the day she first walked into that store. After the event, Zara and Celeste sat together under the night sky, away from the cameras. The city shimmered around them. "Mommy," Zara whispered, leaning her head against her mother's arm. "Do you think people will stop being mean one day?" Celeste thought for a moment. "Maybe not all at once. But if people like you keep building things that make the world safer, then yes, maybe someday." Zara nodded sleepily. "Then I'll keep building?" Celeste smiled. "That's my girl." As the years passed, Zara's story became more than a viral memory. Schools taught it as an example of empathy and courage. Parents used it to teach their kids that standing up for what's right can change everything. The Kindness app continued to evolve, with features designed by kids for kids, because Zara always believed children understood kindness better than adults did. By the time she turned 13, the app had saved dozens of children from dangerous situations and was recognized by the United Nations as one of the most impactful safety tools of the decade. When asked how it all began, Zara always said the same thing. "It started because someone thought I didn't belong. But Mommy showed me that I do, and that everyone deserves to." Celeste never forgot that day at the electronics store, but she refused to let it define her daughter's story. Instead, she let Zara's courage define it for generations. And though the viral video eventually faded from headlines, the message never did. It whispered through classrooms, boardrooms, and homes around the world that one act of cruelty can be erased by 1,000 acts of kindness, that a mother's love can rebuild what hate tries to break, and that a child's voice, no matter how small, can echo loud enough to change the world. The story of Zara Nightingale wasn't about revenge. It was about redemption. It was about an 8-year-old girl who walked into a store with hope, walked out with scars, and still found the courage to forgive and create something beautiful. Because in the end, true justice isn't just about punishment, it's about change. And Zara Nightingale changed everything.